Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and today we are going to be making this holiday card. This is a stamp set that is going to be retiring, and so I wanted to show it to you, and the framelits are also retiring, so I wanted to show it to you so that you could get it while it's still available, and it is while supplies last, so get in on this. You can see there's some dimension behind here. I love this card. You do not see the cuts on the inside. And the way that you do that is you use a white panel, which I never do white on white unless I'm popping it up. So that's one of the key factors here. And I smudged. Oh no, that's just something on there. All right. Also, if you're asking about this, yes, in the last video I told you that I was going back to the doctor and he was going to yell at me for not wearing my brace, and he did. So I'm compromising and I'm wearing the finger buddies during videotaping, and I will be wearing my brace the rest of the day. So if you tell on me, I will stop making videos for you. The end. Okay, I wanted to show you one other thing in the catalog before we move on. This is our current catalog, and it's the holiday catalog that is retiring shortly. So if you want something, get in on it. But this is the suite that we are using. It's the Quilted Christmas suite. These are the stamp sets up here, and then right here are all the framelits. When you see stamp sets and framelits that go together, sometimes you'll see this right here, and it is a bundle. The bundles, you actually save 10% when you buy both parts together. So if you like them and you're going to get both sets anyway, go ahead and splurge, get them both at the same time, and save 10%. And then just skip lunch. I don't know. Skip a latte. Okay, I wanted to show you another trick about our catalog that's kind of cool. If you look at some of these images, these stamped images, you're going to see that some are shaded out. So when they're shaded out in gray like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those are all shaded. These other stamps are not shaded. This number, by the way, tells you how many stamps there are. So 8 of them are shaded. They match a framelit exactly. That's what that shade means. So when it's gray like this, it matches a framelit exactly. There are other shapes in the framelits that don't necessarily correspond to the stamps, and it just gives you so many more options. So that's what that gray means. When you see it in the catalog like this, flipping to another page, and they're kind of brownish or tannish shaded, that means they correspond with a punch. So this one, gray, corresponds with an oval framelit. This one, circle, tan, corresponds with a punch. Okay, and again, this is a bundle, as you can see here. But we are focusing on the quilts today. I just showed you what all is included in the set, so let me get on with the card here for you. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is obviously the card base. So this is the way that I always do my base. There you go. And I am going to do a whole panel, so I'm going to layer it up. So I don't need to do anything else to this base right now. So we're just going to throw it that way. A normal panel is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So if a normal base is, it's going to be 8.5 this way by 5.5 this way. Folded is 4 1/4 by 5.5. This panel is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, just 1/4 of an inch smaller. On this one, I did something kind of cool, and I cut one of those quilting framelits out of the base. So one of the things about these, I'm going to go back to it after all. One of the things about these quilts, this one will cut it out completely. This one will cut the whole part out. So what I mean by that is the white here, I've used this framelit, and it's cut a hole in my panel. I've used this with the red and this. I've layered the two, and that's what's made this frame of the design. Okay, let's be more specific. I have already cut it out because I don't like to edit. So this is what I've done with the white. I've cut that one framelit out, and it just makes a window. Okay, so that's going to be directly on my card, popped up with some dimensionals. You can see that. But now I need to cut the red out, and I need it to actually come all the way out and be a chunk. So I wanted to show you, generally speaking, I love the platform that comes with our Big Shot. But occasionally I whip out my magnetic platform, especially if I'm going to be doing some layers. You're going to get some glare. Sorry, how about that? especially if I'm going to be doing some layers. So now I have layered 2 different framelits on top of each other. And guess what? Right here, they have printed the number, the order number, the item number of the framelit. So if you ever find a loose framelit in your craft room and you don't know what set it's to, that number on here corresponds with this right here. Just go into my website and enter it as if you're shopping, and it'll pop up and it'll show you what set that is. Okay, that's a good trick. So anyway, I put them on the magnetic platform. That way, these things don't move. See that? They're not taped together or anything. They're going to stay exactly as I placed them so that I can cut them out. The first framelit, the inside, is just going to make the hollow. It's going to go all the way through like it did on that white panel. The second one is actually going to cut the square out. So if I were to do it right this very second, which I would do if I like to edit, it would come out looking like that. Okay, so those 2, when you layer them, do this. So now we've got this one, and then the other one cut the square on the outside. You could use just that square for another card, and you can see they're going to fit exactly because they are exactly the same framelit. So I could do that and it would be very pretty and I would be happy, but I'm not going to do that because who's ever happy, right? Who's ever happy? Who's ever satisfied? Opposite of good is better. All right, so I'm going to bring in my mat because I just kind of roll that way. And I am going to bring in a Stampin' Pierce mat because I am going to be using photopolymer. The stamp set for this is photopolymer, and I'm only going to use the piece. I am going to Versamark it first. So I know it's already a little stained, and that is only because I use it in class, because that's what happens. But it's not as stained as it would be had I not used Versamark before I ink it. And then I'm using Real Red. Real Red is a very saturated color, and when you're using super saturated colors, you want to Versamark first because otherwise they do get more stained. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over to remember what I did here, and I'm going to put my panel up here. Now there is a good side and a bad side. Not good side and bad side, but right side and wrong side. Let's say that. This is smooth, okay? This side here is a little rough. This is the back. That's where it actually cut against the platform. This was the top. So I'm going to set that right there. I'm going to ink up my stamp. Remember, I already Versamarked. Now I'm going to make the camera bounce for you. And I'm going to do the piece way down here, right about there. I'm going to put it down and 1, 2, 3 and lift, and it's perfect. I love it. Loving it. All right. And now I am going to put the bow on. I already tied my bow. So the bow is this ribbon that we used before that we melted with our heat tool. And this is just a double bow. And I've already tied it for you and for me because that would probably involve me not being in a brace. And I'm going to find the very end of my tape and have to tear it in half. Okay. When I am putting a bow on, you can do it with a little bit of snail behind your card and then kind of trap the parts, or you can use your dimensionals. All that works, but because I am kind of a little bit lamed right now with my hand, I'm going to use just some Scotch tape, which holds it right in place for me perfectly well. You can see I'm a little less coordinated today than normal. Okay, so there's my bow, and I will play with that to make him perfect later because he layered back up again. All right, I'm going to fix that later, but I'm just going to open up the 2 little pieces like this so that it's done on both sides. And in the meantime, you know what? I want this down here further. I'm going to slide it down a little. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to play with this. So again, top side is smooth, bottom side is rough. Instead of laying it directly on like this, which I could do, and that's also super cute, I think, right? I'm actually going to alternate it or rotate it a little bit, and I'm going to match up just the middle, just this part here and this part here, like this. And it just gives one more dimension to my card. I'm going to move this so you can see. Okay, can you see how that's giving just a little tiny bit more life to my card? All right, the way to do this, now you can use the fine tip glue. It's fabulous, but it takes too long for me and I'm super impatient, so I use my Tombow multi-purpose glue. This one is almost empty though, so I thought I'd show you a trick. Here, okay, this is clogged, right? so you know how I have shown you how to use these to thread buttons and to thread ribbon? They fit perfectly in the little, put my glasses on, in the little hole of this kind of glue. And look, unclogged. So now I can use this as a paintbrush if I'd like, or I can just use the glue itself. Now remember, I am putting glue only on the parts that are going to actually touch the cards. So I'm going to put some on this corner here, some on each of my little corners. And I don't need a ton, because guess what? This is not, I'm not sending a man to the moon with this. I am just putting a tiny bit of glue on here. And now I need to do it again. Craziness. All right, hold on, guys. We'll do this one more time here. It's probably empty, because seriously, this glue is my life. I use it for everything. Do you remember in my big fat Greek wedding where they used Windex for everything? That's what I am with this glue. Glue and tear and tape. It solves everything. All right, we're gonna splurge and go with a different one. Oh, that one's brand new, imagine. Okay. All right, not gonna have a clog problem here. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to put just a touch on the four corners like this. And you can see, as I said, not sending a man to the moon with this. Just putting some glue down. And then remember that my my card is actually going to go right along here. So it's actually right here, right on the white, here, here, and here. Okay, and I'm going to lay this in here. I'm going to tuck it under that guy. I have completely glued my fingers to this card. Oh, geez Louise. All right, there you go. So now it is all over my fingers. All right, so now you can see how I've got it layered up. The reason I like this glue, did you see that? I was a little off and I just slid it with my finger and it worked perfectly well. It gives you that little grace period. And now I want to put this on to my card base that I made earlier and tossed aside. Now, if I were to just glue it flat on, you would miss the extra dimension. So what would we need to make that not happen? You're right, dimensionals. All right, so for dimensionals on this, I want to make sure that I'm not skinchy, okay? Because if you are skinchy on this, you won't have it elevated where you want. For example, if we just did 1, 2, 3, 4, right here and right here on the sides, it would come down against the card, especially in the mail, and then you would not be able to see the extra dimension. It would ruin all your extra effort. So go ahead and fire it up here, and do what I do. That's what brooms are for. It's so funny. I find these little paper hexagons everywhere. I went to put on my shoes this morning and they were inside my shoes. I don't even know. I must have been walking around in my socks. Okay, so now I'm just going to layer that on there. Push down a little bit on the dimensionals. I know where they are. And you can see now I've got some extra life in that card. And once I fix this, I'll be happy. Once I monkey with it a little, but otherwise we are all set. This is what it looks like. If you'd like to get these, please visit my website soon and I will list it here for you. You want to go in and get this because this is while supplies last only. And these cards are going to be, or these quilts are good for all year, really. That's not just Christmas. You'll see that you'll be able to use them many times. And hopefully before Christmas, I'll get a chance to show you some other amazing things you can do. These stamps are opposites, so they could stamp here or here, and so you could actually make a really colorful quilt out of this. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. Just send me a note and I will send you a catalog. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.